Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father has mourned the deaths of migrants in the Mediterranean Sea on Sunday. Addressing believers after the customary Sunday Angelus, Pope Francis prayed for the victims of the tragedy. So far, 40 bodies have been recovered, with children among the dead. The overloaded boat in which the migrants were travelling sank off the coast of Calabria in Italy. Pope Francis thanked all those who took part in rescue operations and those who are welcoming the survivors of the tragedy. Reports say that the boat carrying illegal migrants from Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan capsized after it struck rocks off the coast early on Sunday morning. There were at least 250 people on board at the time of the tragedy. On February the 24th, the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukrainians were strong, ready for anything, and that they would defeat the invaders. President Zelensky noted that at 7 a.m. on the 24th of February last year, he addressed his nation in a brief statement at the beginning of the invasion. He also termed the first day of the Russian invasion as the longest day in the lives of all Ukrainian nationals. Solemn ceremonies were held in cities and countries around the world. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak led his nation in observing a minute of silence to honour Ukrainians. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president has made it clear that he is open to dialogue with Chinese Premier Xi Jinping regarding Beijing's own plans for the conflict. 3 military chaplains of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church have been given top honours. Father Rostislav Vysachan, Father Yuri Leshiyin and Father Yuri Logaza were presented with medals by President Volodymyr Zelensky. They were given the Medal for Courage, the Medal for Military Service to Ukraine and the Medal for the Defence of the Fatherland. The President thanked them for their service and for being with the soldiers during the year-long war. He expressed gratitude to the priests for supporting the soldiers spiritually. Mr. Zelensky expressed his belief that chaplains as well as defence personnel are heroes. Deputy Minister of Defence Hanna Maliar said that chaplains have been working with troops on the front lines and are lifting morale and bolstering resilience. Ever since the war broke out in Ukraine a year ago, the Church in Poland has witnessed a record collection of money and humanitarian aid at parish level for displaced people in the war-torn country. Polish believers are helping support the accommodation of refugees in church buildings and the extension of psychological care to the trauma-hit victims of the conflict. On February the 24th last year, Archbishop Stanisław Gadecki, who heads the Polish episcopate, expressed solidarity with all Ukrainians and urged his people to donate generously. This mammoth collection is unparalleled in the 1,000-year history of the Polish Church. The Archbishop had also announced a new collection in all churches on February the 26th. So far, aid has reached more than 2 million Ukrainians. Caritas alone has dispatched more than 1,000 lorries containing food and essential items to Ukraine so far. In the UK, a Church of England chaplain is filing a lawsuit against a school for terminating his service and branding him a terrorist after he questioned LGBTQ activists. Reverend Bernard Randall is filing the lawsuit against his former employer Trent College in Derbyshire, alleging discrimination, harassment, victimisation and unfair termination of contract. He's being represented by the London-based Christian Legal Centre, which supports believers who face discrimination and harassment because of their religious views. Reverend Randall, who served as chaplain for 5 years, was fired because of a 2019 homily in which he urged pupils to make up their own minds when it came to LGBTQ identity politics. Addressing pupils aged from 11 to 17, Randall explained the traditional teaching of the Church of England on issues such as marriage, gender and sexuality. He said they were in no position to accept the assertions of LGBTQ activists, adding that people had the right to hold on to their traditional beliefs on such issues as per the law of England. There is good news from the Philippines, where the Roman Catholic population has increased by 5 million since 2015. On February the 22nd, the Philippine Statistics Authority released the results of a 2020 census. According to these statistics, 78.8% of the total population reported Roman Catholicism as their religious affiliation. The Bicol region has the highest proportion of Roman Catholics, accounting for 93.5% of the population. Among highly urbanized cities, the city of Mandaue reported the highest percentage of Catholics with 95.2%. According to the Pew Research Center, many Filipinos hold traditional views on social issues that go along with the Catholic Church's teaching. As home to Asia's largest Catholic population, the Philippines has been a destination for papal visits, with Pope Francis's visit in 2015 being the most recent. In the American state of Tennessee, the legislature approved a new bill last week prohibiting sex change procedures for children. Earlier last week, it was approved by the Senate, with the legislation now moving to the desk of Republican Governor Bill Lee to be signed into law. Once it is signed, it will come into effect on the 1st of July this year. It will curb sex-altering surgeries, the use of puberty inhibitors and hormone therapies on those less than 18 years of age. Once it becomes law, it will permit the Attorney General to investigate doctors and providers and impose a fine of $25,000 on violators of the law. The bill says that a violation of the curbs placed on medical procedures is a potential threat to public health, safety and welfare. The Sandinista regime in Nicaragua is intensifying its attacks on the Catholic Church. In the latest incident, the government has prevented the celebration of the Way of the Cross in all parishes in the country. There will now be no public Way of the Cross celebrations during Lent or on Good Friday. This means that the devotion will be confined to within the walls of the church. Last year, the regime banned Catholic processions in the country. The US Episcopate has condemned the persecution of the church by President Daniel Ortega, as well as the 26-year jail sentence given to Bishop Rolando Alvarez of Matagalpa. In a message, head of the USCCB Archbishop Timothy Broglio extended solidarity to believers in Nicaragua as they go through their dark hour. In the United States, a clinical psychologist has expressed grave concern regarding the potential consequences of a bill that was recently passed in Spain. A new law will permit children as young as 12 to change their gender if they experience gender dysphoria. Dr. Erica Anderson, who practices clinical psychology in Berkeley, California, said that many young people are caught up in the excitement about gender minority labels. She said that they might be tempted to adopt ideas about themselves that are temporary but permanent in consequence. Anderson, who has 4 decades of clinical experience, said that by using the law, young people might take decisions about gender for themselves. According to the new law in Spain, minors aged between 12 and 14 can seek the authorization of a judge to change their legal gender. 6 months after the Supreme Court of the United States overturned Roe v. Wade, at least 20,000 packets containing abortion medicines were shipped to Americans. This was revealed by Vice News. Those who mailed the packets are outside the ambit of the US legal healthcare system. The supply of abortion pills points to the fact that there is a clandestine abortion network in the United States. The actual number of abortion pills that have been secretly mailed out to women could be much higher. As per the estimates of the pro-abortion group Aid Access, the outfit received 3 times as many requests for aid in seeking an abortion after the repeal of Roe v. Wade, compared with the time before a draft of the verdict was leaked. In Ireland, the Catholic group has slammed the inclusion of pornography in the sex education curriculum. The Catholic Secondary Schools Parents Association said that using pornographic materials will put an explosive issue into their children's minds. The president of the association, Alan Whelan, said that parents have always been permitted to withdraw their children from subjects they find to be offensive and that this right should not be revoked. Meanwhile, Minister for Education Norma Foley has confirmed the right of parents to withdraw their children from sex education classes will not be revoked. Mr. Whelan said the notion of teaching porn ethically in schools is nonsense. He said that parents need to be assured that when their young people go to school, they're not going to encounter issues that are totally foreign. The Pontifical Academy of Life in Rome has bestowed the Guardian of Life Award upon a midwife and nurse who has been serving among the poor in South Sudan. Magdalene Awad, who hails from Uganda, has been working with Italian non-governmental organisation Doctors with Africa, CUAMM. The Pontifical Academy announced the prize on the 21st of February. In a Twitter message, Ms. Awar said she was dedicating the prestigious award to all women in South Sudan. She has been serving in the world's youngest nation for some 13 years and is now based at Rumbek State Hospital. She also teaches nursing and midwifery at the Health Science Institute. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow next time for more. In the meantime though, you can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.